up, everybody? It's your favorite host, Amelie, back with another episode of the Sip and Sip podcast. Tonight's guest, I have all the way from Chi-Town. She goes by the name of Dominique Green, and she is the CEO, the creator of the DG Creative Agency. Dominique, welcome to the podcast. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you so much for having me tonight.
Of course, I love what you're doing. And I had to do my research on you when I went to your website. I'm like, oh my gosh, oh, this girl got it going on. Let me get her on this podcast. So, Dominique, just tell everybody, the viewers and the listeners, about who you are.
Yes, my name is Dominique Green. I also go by Dom. Actually, a whole bunch of other names, so I'm not going to go down the list. But I go by Dom. I am a Howard University graduate, spring 2021. Graduated my Bachelor's of Fine Arts in Electronic Studio. I'm originally from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. I did my high school years in Houston, Texas, then moved to DC for college. So I'm bouncing all over the place now. But all my background in creative stuff, I like to make things all day, whether it's building a website or trying to paint, which I suck at. I'm really bad at, but I like to do it. But anything in the creative space is really what I specialize in. I've had the opportunity to work with lots of great organizations like Tinder, Goodly, Poetry Center on Crisis Reporting, Smithsonian National Museum for African American History and Culture, NJI Media. It's just so many. And that was just during my time, as a student and a recent grad. And then now running my agency, I've had the pleasure to work with even more clients. I've worked with Texas Southern University. I worked with the University of Wisconsin-Madison. I worked with a lot of Black-owned vendor companies. Lots of just Black-owned something, which is the greatest part about, being behind my agency is I'm working with a lot of Black small businesses. But yeah, that's a quick background on me. I could go on about myself for hours.
Wow. I mean, like the catalog is very extensive and working with so many organizations and so many people, we're going to get to that. But what was your overall inspiration of starting your own agency? Like what was like the straw that broke the camel's back? Was like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna do it. I don't care what nobody says. Like what was your push to create the DG Creative Agency?
That's a great question. I will say, starting at the age of 15 is when I really started to get into entrepreneurship.
Wow.
So around that age is what sparked it. I love being on the computer. I was new to Houston, so I was meeting just a lot of new people, and I was on Tumblr a lot. That was my favorite platform. I was a big mindless behavior fan at the time. Like, you couldn't tell me anything.
Oh yeah.
Ride or die. And I was on there on Tumblr and Instagram, almost like a fan page, but I was just talking to like all the other fans every single day. And one day I decided with one of the friends I met through Tumblr to start my own online boutique. And we just sold random things. We would make celebrity faces and put them on necklaces or celebrity faces on pillowcases. And it would sell out immediately. And we had Trey Songz pillowcase that would sell out. I guess I was seeing that at the time was selling out. We had Mom's Behavior faces, all this stuff that was going on. And it was super fun. It was really comical. We ended up getting recognized as one of Houston's top 100 young professionals, and we were the youngest people on that list. It was my freshman year of high school. And from that point on, I've had so many different ideas for launching businesses. I ended up closing down the boutique as I started getting ready for college. So I just couldn't manage all of it, but I always had a whole bunch of ideas in the background. Once I graduated college, I had great resume. That's one thing I'm really proud of is just all the work that I've been able to do just as a student. It was during the pandemic, so couldn't get a job. And it was like I did so much work. I busted my butt through college, making sure I had internships every semester, making sure my grades were on par, making sure I was networking. But the pandemic kind of pushed it out the way. I even had an offer to work as a production intern on the set of Review. And it got canceled because of the pandemic. So it really kind of knocked a lot of opportunities out the way. And I ended up working as in the Apple store. in Georgetown, Washington, D.C. for a period of time, which was great. I loved working there. But I was like, this is not what I'm supposed to be doing. Like, this is not where all my skills and talents are supposed to live. So I think after about 5 or 6 months, maybe 7 months working at Apple, I quit. Um, Part of it was because they denied my time off request for Thanksgiving, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to
You
Thanksgiving.
you were like, I'm not coming back. Like,
Yeah,
if you can't give me Thanksgiving, I'm not coming back.
exactly. I was like, I can't typically miss out on the food. There's no way. So
Oh yeah.
that was a lot of the reason why I quit, but also because I really wanted to get back into entrepreneurship and find a way to support myself, and also find a way to support Black people at the same time. So initially, I was just working as a freelance creative. So I was taking small little projects here and there, but I got my biggest contract at the time. It was my biggest contract a couple weeks after I quit my job, and it was to do a video project with the Epsilon Omega chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, which is in Baltimore. And I think it was for their Founders Day or their centennial celebration, but it was like it was a large contract. It was like $2,000. So to me at the time, I'm like, yo, I'm balling. Like this
Yeah.
is crazy. Had no clue what I was doing. None of that. I called my boyfriend. He's the audio engineer. So I'm like, look, I need you to come with me. You gotta drive me out there because I don't drive. Like, you gotta figure out how we're gonna do it. And we figured it out after enough YouTube videos and learning how to work several softwares. We did a great video project, and from there, I kept getting referred to this organization and that organization or this individual, and it got to a point where I couldn't do it all by myself. And I also didn't want to say no because I didn't have a job. So it's like, well, I want the money. So I needed to say yes, but I don't know how I'm actually going to do it. So in January of 2022, I was like, you know what? I'm going to contact all my friends who do creative work. I'm going to change from being a freelance artist to running a creative agency and just have all my friends working with me as freelance. So I launched it and announced it in February, and then that following month, I was completely booked out. Couldn't take
Wow.
clients. I had a project for every team member that was working with me at the time, and it was just nonstop work. So I think the drive behind doing the agency was wanting to become an entrepreneur again, but also I had to figure out a way to hustle. Like, I quit my job. So that's kind of how that all came to
And that, you said the keyword hustle. You knew that you had a passion for this. And, take it from me, I was a communications major, radio and TV, and I didn't have a job right out of college after I graduated. And it was like I had to hustle. I was doing freelance work. I was still, quote unquote, interning and not getting paid. And it was like, you know what? I'm going to have to do what I have to do to get my name out there, to make sure I keep networking. But the key word is hustling. And you and I both know, as creatives, it is a dog eat dog world out there for us creatives. Not everybody will see the vision, but you had a vision. And now to see what you went through, building entrepreneurship at 15 years old, that is remarkable. Even now, when I look at teenagers, they don't have the same mindset or that same drive. It's not until, like, oh, you know what? I'm 40, 50 years old, and I could really make t-shirts or design, graphic design, and it's like they finally get it. But you had that hunger at an early age. You were hustling at 15 years old. Come on now. You were hustling at 15 years old. Now, with you being an HBCU graduate, I'm an HBCU graduate as well. How important was it for you to start that business while attending Howard University, while, being at the center in the Mecca? How was that? What was that like?
It was really interesting. I've always found myself to be someone who's a bit more reserved. But when I stepped on campus, a plethora of people knew what I did prior to, like, knew about me starting a business. So I think what started at Howard, I actually had like a digital magazine that I
Oh
was
wow.
running, and a lot of people knew about it and like reaching out to me. I was like, oh, this is weird. I don't know y'all. I ended up even meeting people who knew about me from Tumblr, from when I was
Mm.
a big minds behavior here. Like
Wow.
a couple of people, I was like, oh, that was you. Like, so it was really interesting entering like that. And then when it came down to the business part, I actually was very hesitant about it. Um, Howard is full of amazing and remarkable Black and Brown individuals. Everyone has some sort of creativity in them. Everyone has special skills and talents. And seeing so many people start their businesses on campus and have their direct clients be the student was amazing. I had a friend, Dejan, he had a business called Pasta at Night, where he made pasta at night in
Oh
like
wow.
to dorms.
Wow.
Or my friend Debbie, he had Debbie's tacos, would deliver tacos. He was making it with the aluminum foil, the quesadilla shell, the cheese, and the iron. And delivering it. And even it's just so interesting how little everyone had and like what they were doing with that little bit. And they were all successful in what they were doing. There's hair care companies who go do lashes, cut hair, clean sneakers. You know, everybody had something. So when it came to me, you know, I was dealing with a little imposter syndrome at the time. I'm like, oh, I don't know if I can do this, like it's gonna work. But something that I've always remembered that kind of motivated me to do what I wanted to do, regardless of what other people think, was one day as I was working as a tender student representative, corporate came. They took us to dinner. It was me and two other girls. They took us to dinner just to, you know, catch up. And we were telling them, like, yeah, there's this guy. His name is Demi. He gets tacos. You know, we're trying to get back to the dorm room and get some tacos. And they were just so intrigued by it that they paid us $100 bill and was like, give this to him.
Oh wow.
And I was like, okay. I'm seeing the power of this. Like I'm seeing the
Yeah.
power of the network at Howard because we're just talking because we're gonna get back to the tacos. Like that's it. And they gave us $100 to give to them. And you know, told them, you know, go to the store, get the supplies we need to keep going. And
Wow.
we delivered it to him. He was really emotional about it. He was like, yeah, I don't know how much I needed this, X, Y, Z. So that moment there really like opened my eyes to the power of networking at Howard and gave me more motivation to actually, you know, do my business there. So I have a couple, you know, students who were my first technically clients there and really put me in different spaces and positions to get more clients and work on bigger contracts. So I'll always be grateful for that. But yeah, that's just something I'll always remember that always like kind of motivates me to just keep doing what I'm doing. I could taco and aluminum foil, but somebody will hand me $100 bill and be like,
Wow.
so
Wow, that's just like that's an amazing, story of, that motivates you to keep going. It's the little things that people that you will least expect. And I know, being in Washington D.C. where it is, predominantly black and it's growing, it like I said, it's the Mecca. It is the Mecca. I just with Howard University, all HBCUs, and the thing about it is like you being an HBCU graduate and seeing all of your other fellow entrepreneurs and everything, you all stuck together during that time. How is it now looking back then when you were in school to now to see your business that has taken off and blossomed? How is it, you all look back at that moment and with your respective businesses now?
oh, it's crazy. It's really crazy. I always tell people like I started my business. I had $150.
Mm.
That's all I could put towards, launching my business. And all of the money went towards paying for a full year subscription for my website.
Mm.
And I was like, well, I know how to build websites. I know how to make things look really good. I don't have to pay anybody to do that. I just the platform. So I spent hours just building my website out, making it as cool as I possibly could, you know, to convince people. Even though I had no clients at the time, I didn't have no break I could show you outside of surgery. Um, so going from that and then being in the position I'm in now, it was like, oh, that's the $8,000 contract. That's cool, you know.
Yeah.
You know, it's so interesting because back then, you know, somebody will offer me $200 to create a logo, and I'm losing my mind. Like I have to go out and celebrate now. You know, contract, and now I'm celebrating bigger things. Um, Celebrating, you know, the small business things they use, and they reached out to us to do a Juneteenth campaign with them last year out of nowhere. Or
Wow.
you know, we're on the United States Black Chambers Commerce website as a official Black-owned business now. We have our Wix accessibility certification, meaning that every Wix website we build is accessible with to people who have different abilities and whatnot, people who are blind, can't hear that well. You know, all of our websites are accessible, so that's like a great accomplishment to have. Um, it's just so interesting because I don't think I ever thought it would get to this point. I wanted it to get to this point, but I don't think I ever believed myself that it would get there. Then I did wake up in the morning. I'm like, oh wait, I'm kind of where I want to be. You know,
Yeah.
I want to be bigger, but you know, I'm getting there. I'm progressing. So
And
it's awesome.
and you are when once you continue to do something that you love. I always say be pregnant with your passion because it's going to show and nobody can take that away from you. God gave you a gift, a talent to be creative, and it's showing to the world. It is showing all over. And you know, I commend you because as a black woman, as a successful black woman, I know starting a business is not easy. What obstacles had to overcome in order to, you know, create the D&G creative agency to, you know, be what it is now, to have all of these clients and you working with so many HBCUs and organizations and people are seeing your work. What are some of the obstacles that you had to overcome?
I feel like this is an obstacle every day, you know, that I have to overcome.
Girl, tell me about it.
They don't stop at all. But I think some of the biggest ones is I had to be okay with making mistakes, but not just making a mistake, but making a mistake that people can see. It's one thing that you like, you know, I know I made a mistake, okay, I can fix it real quick, but something that somebody else, you know, is able to see. I had to be okay with doing those types of things because it's only going to show me how to be better the next time. So I would be nervous. Like, I'll be at a big set and I do something dumb, like knock my tripod over on accident. I'm like, like, now I gotta fix it up and all this stuff. And it's like, you know what, it's okay. Like, now I'm mindful. Now around my tripod will put blue tape so I can visually see not to go past that point or, you know, do more preparation. It definitely, you know, taught me that the obstacle, like, I need to make sure I prep for every single thing that I do. Whether it's a meeting, a consultation call, even if I'm about to start building the website, you know, there's always that prep period. So I think my procrastination was the obstacle that I had over because that was something that I did all throughout college. So I procrastinated anything, and then by the grace of God, everything worked out in those final seconds.
Yes.
I got this. I know how to work under pressure. And it's like, well, that's great to be able to do that. You know, you should always have to do that. You know, you should be more mindful about those things. So that was something I had to overcome. But I think the really big one is being okay with somebody saying no. Because
Yes.
you know, I love offering my services and I try to be as cost friendly as possible because my target audience is small business owners and aspiring entrepreneurs. So I'm always in that mindset of where I was when I had $150. So I understand how a lot of small businesses just don't have certain budgets to do certain things. So I always try to make custom packages or work with them on payment plans and stuff like that, getting them as many options as possible. But sometimes people just can't do it, and you have to be okay with that. Some people have the habit of hearing no and then saying, like, "Oh wait, well maybe I can do this instead." Like this instead. And for me, I don't want to come in the process where I'm just chasing a goal. Like, I don't want to make I'm begging for you to stay there. Um, so I had to be okay with hearing no and still moving forward, pursuing another client. And that's the hard thing to deal with, especially if you're in the time crunch where your bills is coming up and you're trying to get a new client and before it does.
Yeah.
So you're feeling that pressure to just accept whatever you can get. But if somebody says no, say thank you so much for reaching out. I hope we can work together again in the future. And just, keep it on your list and keep it pushing. But yeah, that would be something.
I feel you when you first started, giving your response, and you were like, I feel like it's an obstacle every day. And, just seeing you being so transparent and honest about that, like feeling like I feel like there's an obstacle each and every day that I have to overcome as a business owner. And I feel like me as a potential business owner, I know I will have those obstacles, but you have pushed through it with so much grace, and look at the fruits of your labor. No matter how hard it gets, as a successful business owner, there's still good accomplishments. There's still like a positive end to it, a positive side. So what are some of the highlights so far in your agency that you could share, that that kind of makes you feel, I have arrived. Like, I had to go through all the bad stuff, all the obstacles to get to, enjoying this and people seeing my work. What has been like a highlight for the past, couple of years, or even in this year, that you can share with us?
I think one of my favorite things that has happened recently, I have this opinion. Before I say this, I don't have favorite things. Okay, I don't want to say I have a favorite client because I don't. But I have this one client, his name's Ashton. And Ashton has been such a cool person to work with because he's trusted us to build everything for his business. He first reached out to get a logo branding kit design. We did that. He came back and said, all right, I have a podcast associated with this business. I need another branding kit. Cool. We did it for him. And he told us, like, hey, I'm going to come back to y'all. Every podcast I built, I'm going to come back. And months go by, and he's in my email, yo, I'm ready. Like, what can we do? And we spent about 2 weeks building the draft version website, like just nonstop every day, just going. We don't have a tight deadline or anything. It was just fun. So we would just do it every day. And it gets to like right before his first project check-in, prepping everything up. We go into Zoom, and I'm showing him everything. And it was like, I said, is there anything that we need to change on this website, or do you want to move in a different direction as far as the design? And he says, this is exactly what I imagined this website to look like, so I don't have any design edits. And that was the first project that I worked for where I did not have design feedback on
Yeah.
and I was like, oh, thank God, because we spent so many hours doing this draft out. We really wanted this to be the design. So it was so nice to hear that, especially from someone that we've been working with consistently, like someone who's
Yes.
always coming back to us for services. You can go anywhere. You can ask anybody to create this for you, and you're trusting us to do it every single time, and every single time you're satisfied. So moments like that are always accomplishments to me, like having someone either be a repeat client or getting a new client and saying, oh, we heard you from this person. Or I had someone reach out and they said, yeah, I was on this website and in the footer it said you designed it. So I came from there. Those are always just like really good ways.
Yes, and and it's the wins, the small wins that people can see your creativity and say, they keep coming back, they keep coming back, and it makes you feel good. Like, because it kind of ties in with my next question. As Black females in media and in as an entrepreneur, we face imposter syndrome. And, I don't get a chance to talk about imposter syndrome on my platform as often as I want. But, you are a successful businesswoman. Have you ever felt like you had imposter syndrome as a business owner with your agency?
Yeah, I've had imposter syndrome since my freshman year of college. So
Wow.
I've definitely
Mhm.
experienced that a lot, and it can make things really difficult.
Mhm.
Um, but I think over time I've learned how to kind of navigate it
Mhm.
and kind of live with it. You can't really get rid of it, but
Mhm.
live with it and, come up with a plan to move around.
Mhm.
Um, and it gets really hard, especially, in those beginning stages. I think
Mhm.
one of the hardest parts of having a business is those first couple months because
Mhm.
people approach you like you are just here, like you're just new, like you don't really know too much.
Mhm.
So they try to lowball you a lot, or they try to talk circles around you, or almost make you feel like you don't know what you're talking about anymore. Like
Mhm.
maybe this
Mhm.
isn't your specialty, maybe this isn't what you're supposed to be doing, and that can weigh a lot. One of my first couple of consultation calls was with this guy who found us online, and he basically got on the call and was like, "Yeah, I'm only going to pay you this amount of money, and I need this by I think within the next 2 weeks." Like
Mhm.
very demanding, and
Mhm.
in those moments, you can feel like pressure because okay, like I wanted a client, but you're telling me how much I'm going to get paid. Like you're giving me the timeline, you're deciding
Mhm.
all these things for me, and now I'm starting to feel like this is not what was meant for me. This is not what I'm supposed to do. Um, but in those moments, I've learned to kind of set my boundaries and be very,
Mhm.
very transparent, very straightforward with,
Mhm.
with me, with my process, and what my business is. But I've dealt with things like that all the time
Mhm.
with the
Mhm.
business. But like I said, over time, you just find ways to
Mhm.
navigate it and kind of
Mhm.
on this way doesn't affect you as much
Mhm.
anymore.
Mhm.
But I think imposter syndrome is something that a lot of Black women face,
Mhm.
especially straight out of college, um,
Mhm.
especially out of HBCUs.
Mhm.
We're surrounded by a lot of successful people of color every single day,
Yes.
so you're
Yes.
always just intimidated,
Mhm. Mhm.
But yeah,
How did you maneuver to push through with having imposter syndrome? Like right now, like how are you managing to push through it?
um, I kind of just ignore it now.
Mhm.
Like, I think that's the best way.
Right. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
kind of just ignore it. I sometimes, I'll be looking at something and I'll be really nervous. I will
Mhm.
feel like I don't know how to create this thing that's being asked of me.
Mhm.
Uh, but, I take my breathers. I have some supplements that I take.
Mhm.
Uh, I listen to my favorite radio station on Apple Music. It's on
Mhm.
Beats One Radio. It's called Selection.
Mhm.
So Selection episode 2 hours, great music, love it. And then the Pomodoro timer. I got multiple layers to it.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
my Pomodoro timer is on. I got my Selection playing in the background. Just took my supplements. Like I'm chilling.
Yes.
So as long
You're feeling zen, like
as
very very in a calming sense and stage.
yeah, it's like a routine. I think that's what it is.
Mhm.
Once you establish routine,
Mhm.
it's easy to ignore all those thoughts. It's
Mhm.
easy because
Mhm.
you don't have time for it. You have things
Mhm.
to do. You got to study about.
Mhm. How important, like as a business owner, how important is mental health to you within being, having a business?
Mm. It's really important. I think
Mhm.
it's the most important thing, honestly.
Mhm.
Um, I know early on I would have moments where like my anxiety would be so bad that I couldn't open the email because
Mm.
I wasn't sure what it was. Like I knew I just sent a draft out to this client and they're responding with their thoughts on it and
Mhm.
I can't open it because what if it's bad? What if they hate it? What if they want me to start completely over? And I think the longest I took to respond to an email, which I haven't done this since,
Mhm.
like a week went by.
Mhm.
And I knew about the email. I saw it in my notification every single morning, and I just couldn't
Mhm.
get myself to open it. Um, and then when I finally opened it, it was good. Look, I wasted my time doing that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's really important. It's definitely something to take care of. Definitely something to be on top of. Even if you
Mhm.
notice there's something slightly off, you have to address it. Like you have to figure out what the root of it is, and then find ways to navigate it. Because if you don't, it starts to seep into your work, and you don't even realize it. You know,
Mhm.
you do
Mhm.
whatever, but it affects your work. It affects your ability to communicate effectively. It affects your ability to communicate transparently.
Mhm.
Uh, it affects your ability to be a leader.
Mhm.
If that's the position that you're taking on. So it's definitely something that needs to be taken care of at all points in time.
Mhm. Mhm. I'm glad. Thank you so much for sharing, your own experiences, and I know that you have pushed through it all and you keep pushing through. And what advice would you give to, young entrepreneurs that are in maybe still in college or coming out of college? What advice would you give to them about starting a business and they want to get to where you are and be successful? What advice have you learned over the years that you can share with somebody, or even from your own experiences yourself? What advice would you give young entrepreneurs?
I think the first piece of advice is that you can do anything with a small budget
Mm.
to make anything happen. It
Mhm.
may not be
Mhm.
to the quality that you want it to be,
Mhm. Mhm.
but you can get something started. So never feel like, oh, I need to save up like $5,000 before I start doing this, or I need to apply for a business loan before I can do it. Like you can do anything with little to nothing. It's just about that effort to get started.
Mhm.
Uh,
Mhm.
so that's definitely one piece. I think the second piece of advice is to not chase money. Like
Mm.
if you're starting a business, it has to be a business that you actually want to start and that you have some passion behind. It's very easy to tell when someone starts a business with the sole purpose of generating income. There has to be a greater mission, a greater purpose in order for people to relate to you, people to feel comfortable enough to come to you for that service.
Mhm.
Uh,
Mhm.
so just because your credit card bill is due next month and it's $500 and you don't got $500, that don't mean when Billy comes to your house and asks you to make her a shirt real quick that you can charge her $50 for the shirt.
Mhm.
Like, be reasonable, be realistic. We all want to charge the amount equal to our rent. Like that,
Mhm.
you know,
Yes.
with everything. Now, over time, you can do those things once you start to build yourself up and have that good reputation and have
Mhm.
that clientele or customer
Mhm.
base. You can do stuff like that, but
Mhm.
starting out, you can't do that.
Mhm. Mhm.
So yeah, that's my two pieces of advice is you can do anything with nothing and to not chase something.
Ooh, I love that. I mean, that was something I needed to hear, because I feel like a lot of people don't know, or people, they don't get the right advice. They don't get the right advice from people that have, started their own business and they're going off of, other people. And, that's why I wanted to ask that question, because you might have viewers that will watch this and say, "Okay, well, I want to start a business." And, let's switch gears. I want to talk about the DG Creative Agency. Now, if you can share with all of the viewers and the listeners, what all does your creative agency offer?
Yeah, so the creative agency is a full cycle creative
Mhm.
agency, meaning you do everything. Um, Website development, logo
Mhm.
branding, social media marketing,
Mhm.
photography, videography, animation,
Mhm.
3D modeling, app development, literally anything that you can think of that
Mhm.
is digital and is considered creative, we more than likely do that.
Mhm.
We've done things from podcast design and branding.
Mhm.
We've done designing company reports that they
Mhm.
deliver to their staff. So we have a large range of services that we provide, and we
Mhm.
specialize in working. our target is small businesses, but we specialize in working with Black and Brown business owners.
Mm,
But
mhm,
we open our doors to everyone, as long as they're serving a purpose that aligns with the agency. So, for example, we work with the University of Wisconsin-Madison, which was
mhm.
a PWI, but we work specifically with their African American Black Employee Resource Group. So
Wow.
everything that we're doing
Mhm,
is always serving our community in
mhm,
one way
mhm,
or another. Uh,
mhm.
we are going to be celebrating our second year in February. Um, so we're very exciting.
Yes.
We have a clientele base now of over 35, so we're
Wow.
consistently growing. We have a team of about 16 freelance creatives who are all Black
Wow.
and Brown individuals as well, from a
Wow.
variety of different backgrounds. So some of them,
Mhm.
went to four-year college, some of them went to community college, some of them
Mhm.
just have a high school diploma.
Mhm.
Everybody deserves opportunity. So we have lots of diverse creatives on our team,
Mhm.
um, and we're completely remote. So we're all based around
Wow.
the U.S. Nobody is really in the same place. We
Wow.
have East Coast, we have up north, some people in the South. We
Mhm.
have some people in the islands too. Uh,
Wow.
but yeah, I think the only place we don't have someone is California, if I'm not mistaken. But
Mhm.
we have people all over. We're a growing team, very small but mighty.
Mhm.
Uh, and yeah,
Wow, that's awesome. Like I would have never thought that. I thought that you were just a one woman show and you creating, but when you said you have a team, and I know working with the team is different from being like a one woman show, but you have people that are creatives, and I love how like you didn't leave that door closed. You kept that door open for other creatives saying, hey, I made my own table, I want you to come to my table.
right.
I love that. So, we're getting close to, 2024. What exciting things can you share on the Sip and Sit that you have coming for D&G Creative Agency in 2024?
Um, a couple new services are going to roll out. I'm planning on rolling out a 48-hour website development service.
Oh, wow.
Um, very small websites, like two to
Mhm.
three pages, but uh,
Mhm.
something for the new year. Something for those people who are trying to check off launch that business
Mhm.
of the New Year's resolutions.
Mhm.
Different services cater to those group of people as we lead into 2024. Um, more virtual things, more exclusive content coming from
Mhm.
us,
Mhm.
advice,
Mhm.
tutorials. I did a lot of tutorials in my first year, like on YouTube, how to use Photoshop for this, how to use
Mhm.
InDesign for this. So, um, sharing a lot of free resources in the new year for
Mhm.
sure. Uh, and being a bit more engaging on the outside.
Mhm.
We've been really focused on the internal and making sure everything is tied and put
Mhm.
together
Mhm.
and clients are satisfied and everybody's good.
Mhm.
But I think now it's time for me to directly communicate with everyone else. So I think that's pretty much what we got planned so far. We always
Oh,
have some summer,
yes.
but yeah, that's
Yeah.
the majority.
So, Dom, as we get ready to wrap up this interview, what is your ultimate goal for yourself as a businesswoman and a business owner? What is your ultimate goal?
My ultimate goal is pretty big, it's a big one, but
Girl, hey,
uh,
the bigger the better.
but I want to open I want to launch an umbrella company.
Mhm.
And under that company, I want to have one business in every single industry, so
Mhm.
that I can provide opportunities to Black and Brown students, no matter what they're interested in. I know
Mhm.
that's a really big barrier. Is when, where Black and Brown students, they may want to go into culinary arts, but they can't find, you know, I don't know, maybe a Black owned catering business or a Black owned
Mhm.
restaurant that they would want to work for. So I want to
Mhm.
have a restaurant, or if
Mhm.
there's a Black student who wants to get into fashion design, I want to have, some sort of apparel line. I want to have my own lemonade line at one point too, because it's my favorite drink.
Okay.
Me and
Hey,
my-
you can do it.
but then, yeah, like I want to have all of these different businesses, so that I can provide opportunities to literally everybody. like nobody is left out. And there's no limits there. So that's my ultimate goal. I'm working towards it. It's a lot.
Hey,
Yeah.
hey, you working towards it, but it's going to happen. Well, it's already out there. God has it. He has it. He heard it, and he's working. He is working behind the scenes and in front of the scenes. Now, I always try to wrap up, like, with interviews of words of encouragement. I'm a big firm believer of God, and testimonies and things that that have happened in my life, and I always give like God the glory about that. But words of encouragement or words of affirmation that you have lived by, so far in your journey as a business owner, what is like a gem that kind of makes you to keep going? What is something that you live by each and every day?
It's such a good question. Um, I'm a big fan of Solange. She's like my
Mhm.
favorite person ever in the entire world. And she has a song on her most recent album, and it's called I Saw Things I Imagined.
Mm.
And that's it. Like, at first I didn't understand the song, and it took me a little while. But I was
Yeah.
like, oh, like, I'm seeing things that I imagined.
Mhm.
Like, I imagined being
Mhm.
in this place. Like, it was in my head every single day, and now I'm here. I'm seeing it in real life. And it encourages me to just keep dreaming and keep imagining and keep,
Mhm.
working towards that goal, because one day it's not going to be a dream anymore. It'll
Mm.
be my reality. So that song definitely keeps me going. That whole album, that
Mhm.
whole I Get Home album, that's it. That's enough motivation right there in itself. So yeah, I definitely rely on that album very heavily and all of the words of encouragement that she's provided, me through it.
Mm. I love that. I'm just like that whole album was like magnificent anyway. I'm like, I feel you, and I have to go back and listen to that song, but just hearing you in that gym is like it's showing. I feel like it's already showing, and it's only up from here. It's only, more elevation, more evolvement of the DG Creative Agency, and it's only up from here. So Dom, please, can you drop like all of your social medias where potential clients like myself can follow you, and drop your website, and of course it will be down in the description, so you have no choice but to click on that description, and go support her. And if you want to be a potential client, can you drop all of your information for us?
Yeah. Instagram is at DomGCA. Website is dgcreativeagency.com. If you want to inquire about services, just go there, click contact. The whole inquiry form will be right there. You can schedule a call in one sitting. So go ahead and head there. I am on Facebook as Dom Creative Agency as well, and LinkedIn under the same thing. YouTube, Dom Creative Agency. Yeah, pretty much anywhere. If you try to find me on any social media platform, Dom Creative Agency, I'm sure I'll pop up. You'll see the little brown logo. It's the same logo everywhere. So you can find me.
Well, there you have it, all of her information. If you are looking to, you need some creativeness, you need marketing, you need video, she got it all. Y'all make sure you support black owned businesses, support black businesses. She's a HBCU graduate of the Howard University. Dom, I'm just so like looking at like your repertoire, like everything is. I'm just elated for you, and it's just only up from here. So make sure you all support her, continue to support black owned businesses, and make sure you all like and subscribe this video. We're gonna be doing more interviews, more entrepreneurs, more artists, more celebrities, all of that. So make sure you like and subscribe, and tell a friend that each and every week the Sip and Sip podcast drops a new video. And of course, the holidays are coming up, so I want to say happy Thanksgiving to everybody, and I hope that you have a wonderful and safe holiday. And I gotta ask you before we go, Dominique, do you do the traditional Thanksgiving dinner, or do you cook, or all of that. Or you just like, what, I'm just going to my mama's house. I'm just be there.
I'm a sous chef. I don't cook too much Thanksgiving. I'm too worried about eating.
I know. See, we here, girl. We here. I just look. I just show up. I don't
Exactly.
bring none. I just show up.
I just show up. I get the mac and cheese, the sweet potato pie, and the collard greens. And I'm just sit in my corner and
Eh,
I'm my food.
That's it. That's how I am. That is how I am. And I'm mostly like a sides person. Like I can do without the turkey. I can do without the ham. But if I need my dressing, my macaroni and cheese, and my collard greens, and my sweet potato souffle or yams, and I'm good. I'll eat sides more than I eat the turkey. Because sometimes folk can't cook no turkey and it be dried out. And some people can't cook no ham because they don't use brown sugar on the ham like I like it, like I do. So I don't eat everybody turkey and ham. But I'm a sides girl. So
Mm-hmm. I
so
felt
yeah. But of course, y'all, thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.